Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vape Lounge. I'm Jeff, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the ZNA by Zen of House of Hybrids. I purchased this device for $279 from electronicsticks.com. Let's break it down, get into it, check this bad boy out. Okay, so let's check out the ZNA. Here's how she arrived in this pretty sweet box. It says Zen. Check it out. Open that puppy up. Nice little display slash padded case. Nice foam. The device itself, nice cutout. Fancy, fancy. They also go out of their way to, on the back of the device, on the back of the box, let's see, he's got ZNA by Zen, not made in China, and your serial number. So that's how she looks. Real quick, let's throw it next to something so we get an idea of size. There's next to a Provari Mini. So you can see they're pretty close. Let's see, what else do we've got here that maybe someone's got at home. Here's a cheesy bolt, 18650 bolt. Here's a Caravelle clone in 18650 mode. You can see it's a pretty small package for what's in there. Get an idea of the size that way. It's really think about it. That's a bigger battery than this guy, so pretty cool that it's got a for such a small package. What's going on in there. This just gives you a basic size comparison of what's going on. Well, nothing much to it. I'm not going to go crazy. It is what they call Z2 threaded. Oh, there's a bottom cap threaded with that specific Z2 threading. You got a top cap, standard pin. That 510 pin and that 510 connection cap is not adjustable. But standard Z2 devices will screw directly onto this, so giving you more of a hybrid feel, look, whatever. Now this body tube also just screws out. Again, it's all Z2, so you can buy an 1850 tube and make it longer. You could buy a different colored tube, which I think is pretty sweet for customization. The device itself is that, so it's pretty nice that the way it's designed is that it's kind of a modular device, where it can be thrown on. From my understanding is you can buy just a bottom fire switch for this tube and throw on your same top cap and use it as a mech. So pretty cool. If you already got Z2 tubes, awesome. If not, you're going to pay dearly to get a different colored device. But that's nothing to it. Threading feels okay. I kind of expected it to be smoother, to be quite honest, but it's not like it's rough, but not as buttery smooth as other things I've used. They also had a ton of grease in them when I opened this thing up. I also got to say I'm not too much of a fan of the space. I mean, that's just a standard AW manufacturer recommended for this device. You can kind of see there's a bit of a space. I'm kind of nitpicky, but more of a space on that bottom cap than I would have thought there would have been. And that's screwed down tighty tight. Can't get it any tighter. Top cap. As I broke these threads in, they get a little bit nicer. Again, not bad, but a little bit of a space right along from there to there. All right, so once you get that bad boy going, as soon as you pop it on, it's going to tell you, give you your serial number. Kind of cool. I'm not going to go through every last feature and function of a DNA board. It's the same functions as a DNA 20, so you could check into that. But just a real basic thing. Obviously, there's your fire button right there. You can see how it barely even protrudes. It's kind of molded in. It's really nice. The axis for it's way up top there. So you could make it fire down here, all the way up to the access point, pretty much right on top of here. It's still firing. You could pretty much make it fire right on top of that pin too. So any angle you grab it, you can get it to go. These buttons here are a little bit recessed. They're not recessed, I should say. It's just the way that they're milled into this plane kind of gives them a little bit more of a protection from easily being hit. So, you know, right now it's locked. We hold down both of these buttons at the same time for 5 seconds. It even tells you so on the screen. Then it's unlocked and you could, 5 clicks on the button locks down the device, 5 more clicks unlocks it. Then, you know, you have your wattage up, wattage down. Again, there's your fire button, firing in, and you're going. 5 clicks on the fire button and it locks back up. And it also dims the screen when it locks up. That's how you kind of know it's locked. This thing is really tough to see in sunlight, though. I will say that. Very difficult to make out what's going on. You're pretty much in bright sun. You're in stealth mode by default. Otherwise, you know, other modes, as I said, you can check them out. Stealth mode, whereas that, you know, it operates without the screen on. Flip the display around so is that it's, you know, reading the other direction. As you can see, it faded off and went off there. That's also kind of nice. When you've locked it down, it only lasts for about a minute or so, and then the screen just fades off. And as soon as you touch a button, it pops back on. You know, 5 more clicks, the screen gets a little bit brighter, and then you're ready to vape. So, very simple controls, not a lot to it, which makes the user interface very, very nice, very desirable. It's a heck of a lot easier than scrolling through menus. Everything is there, power up, power down, buttons independent for them, and your fire button, which also acts as the lock button with a couple clicks. So all really easy to get to, very simple design, very simple menu, all the quality things of a DNA 20 with the advantages of the upgrades of the 30. So let's vape it. Consistent power to the Addy. The Zen. The Zen ZNA, very good device. It's solid in the hand. It's very extremely well built. I mean, the weight feels every bit of steel. It's heavy. It feels durable. The design, I think, is awesome as far as their use of space. They used as little space as they had to, it seems, to get everything under the hood. The button design, I think, is great. I think the way in which it's done is it allows a variety of options on how you want to hold it, and it's easy to get to that fire button. There's never any fumbling to figure out where it is. Any way you pick this thing up, grab it, squeeze your fist together, you're on the button. The Z2 threading allowing you to customize and change out the tubes, allowing you to put something directly screwed in to the top in a hybrid fashion, I think is a really smart idea. And it's nice that the board/device is separated from the tube in that capacity. And I think anything that allows more customization and options is always cool. So well thought out. Cons on this device. The top cap on that 510, it does not adjust, which in and of itself isn't that bad, but nothing I own sat flush when I first got this device. Out of the 10 different tanks I have, 3 different, you know, this is a real K-Fun Light Plus, and it was so far off that besides it being visually disturbing on how much space between the bottom of the Addy and the top of the cap was, it was so off that the whole device wiggled. And, you know, my son, you know, I was fearful that I was going to either destroy the threads in the K-Fun or wreck the threads on the top cap. Either way, it was, in my opinion, unusable in that condition. So it wasn't just the original K-Fun. I have knockoff K-Funs that have the ability to adjust that center pin. Same problem. No matter how much I adjusted it, I would get it closer, but never close enough, and never close enough to sit flush. And as I said, some of them that have no adjustment, the space was so great that the top actually wobbled and made it, in my opinion, unusable. Now, I might go on a little bit too much about this particular issue, but I gotta say, there's nothing more upsetting than buying a new device, any device, no matter how much I pay for it. I've been upset with knockoffs mechs that I get, and there's a huge space there and no ability to change it. So it's compounded that much more when you see a product that so much thought, so much effort in design has gone into, yet that 510 cap is so kind of just, here it is. I mean, you're telling me nobody over at House of Hybrids has got a K-fund to just see how close it sits and what may happen if it's really horrible? It goes as far as a customer, it makes me start to, and this was a concern when I bought it, I don't own any other Zen products. So when I saw it was Z2, and I didn't even know what Z2 was, I said, gee, I hope, because I'm not going to use anything with Z2 threading, it's still going to be as nice. And I gotta say, it feels like it's not with this issue. If you're just going to give me a product that you're saying, well, gee, I have this feeling that a Genesis made by Zen with Z2 threading probably mounts onto this thing beautiful. That's just a hunch. It just kind of feels like, as a customer, if you pay no attention to those other things, it's almost as if you're telling me it's because you don't want me to use those other things. It's meant to be used on your Z2 devices, and here, we'll give you this 510 cap, but good luck making it work. And so little effort went into it that it doesn't even allow some devices to be used without modification. So total bummer, total downside. Maybe, as I said, they'll be able to make a new top cap that gives me that adjustment down the line. And maybe that would be a solution. But if I have to pay more money to get that, again, that's kind of ridiculous. All right, so the other thing I kind of irks me is it's a little bit of a rattle, and it's not from the battery and it's not from the fire button. It's from these two power up and down buttons. Very slightly here. Every time I go to pick this thing up and it's sitting somewhere, grab it just right, and I just hear that rattle. And rattle in my head gets associated with something cheap. And I know that this is not cheap. Someone took a lot of time, effort, and put a lot of thought into this. But doesn't matter. When I go to pick it up and I hear it rattling, my brain associates that with cheap. So that stinks. Maybe that's my own sickness. But it would be cool if the buttons didn't rattle around when I shook this. Also, the edges are a little bit rougher than I expected. It's not like a game breaker, game changer, or whatever you want to say. It's, it still feels good in the hand. But the edges are just a little bit rougher on this millwork than I expected them to be. Wouldn't mind if they were a little bit more smoothed out. And then the last bummer on this product, probably one of the ones that everyone's most bummed about, but that's a good thing, so to speak, is its availability. Price and availability. Its price is high and its availability is low. So yeah, it's, you can almost say that's a good thing that its availability is so low because it's in that much of a demand, but it's frustrating to watch a review and say, man, that is an awesome device. Where'd you get it? And then go there and just see out of stock and never to return. I'm hoping that this product's not going to be like that. It seems as though they're committed to really getting them out there and making a bunch. So hopefully as we move along here, it's going to get better. That being, availability is going to get better. That being said, it makes me question the price. Now, the reason I say that is, right now, as it is, it feels like it's worth every penny. It's unique, it's innovative, all those other things, and there's nothing else on it. And there's nothing else on the market that seems to do it. So yet, but it almost reminds me of a time where like the first flat screen TVs came out. This is the risk you're going to take. The first time a flat screen TV came out, you walk past it and you're like, wow, that's awesome. And the price tag was phenomenal. Now, if you bought that TV at the time, you said, well, there's nothing else on the market that does this. Look how thin it is. Look how sharp, all those things. And you were right. There was nothing else on the market like it, and the price was justifiable. What happened a year later? A year later, Everything was a flat screen. 2 years later, now, you know, I mean, we're all guilty of it. You walk around, you see them, they're everywhere, and they're cheap, and the quality's getting better and better. So while this is worth the money I paid today, and the quality and everything all amazing, this market, electronic cigarettes, is moving faster than flat screen TVs. You know, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a new chip on the market within 6 months that is going to be in competition with Evolve. I mean, Evolve's not going to sit at the top of the game, you know, top of the chain long. Everybody out there was studying the DNA 20, trying to figure out how to improve it, how to give you more power, how to take it to lower ohms. That being said, I wholeheartedly believe that we'll see a device that has just as much technology under the hood, if not more so, with improvements, in a very nice package that they're going to mass produce somewhere, and they're going to put it on the market for half of the cost of this. And it will probably be available, and it will probably be effective. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to look at my very expensive ZNA and probably say, gee, but it's one of a kind. So that's the risk you run with paying the price for something like this in the early stages of the game. That being said, I'm still pretty happy with my purchase, and I could justify it today. Tomorrow, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, hit me up on the comments below. I've got a ridiculous amount of vape mail on the way, more vape mail than I need, so I got a lot more reviews coming as well. Thanks for stopping by the Vape Lounge. Hope you enjoyed your time.